Hi, thanks for joining me in another video. Today we'll be looking at a luxury electric vehicle that stands out for its futuristic design, high-tech features, and ample range. Let's take a closer look at the Mercedes-Benz EQS. The EQS is the first all-electric sedan from Mercedes EQ, a sub-brand of Mercedes. Though there are reports that Mercedes will be dropping the EQ designation from its electric fleet. The EQS is offered in 3 models and 3 trim levels to pick from, starting at about $105,000 for the base model EQS 450 Plus and rising to a princely sum of $126,000 for the EQS 580 4MATIC. With a decent range of up to 350 miles, you can go the distance without worrying about recharging. The configuration behind me is a 450 Plus Premium with a few added features including the AMG line exterior and the interior package. The quick specs on the 450 Plus have this EV accelerating 0-60 in 5.9 seconds. It has 329 horsepower and 1 rear motor with a power output of 245 kilowatts. Mercedes-Benz lists the car to charge 10 to 80% in 31 minutes and can DC fast charge at up to 200 kilowatts. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of its performance and battery, let's take a moment to look at the EQS's exterior design. The EQS was built on an all-electric architecture, so exhibits some unique features. One thing to note about this particular car, it has been wrapped in matte black after purchase, so this color isn't available from the factory. Starting in the front, the black panel seamlessly integrates with the grille and full-width LED light band. It showcases the very large Mercedes star emblem in the center and star pattern across. This panel sets it apart from other Mercedes vehicles and marks it as part of the EQ family. It has a sleek and aerodynamic design with smooth lines and curves. As I mentioned before, this EV has the AMG line exterior, so a few things change from the base design. This exterior option adds a sporty touch to the EQS's already sleek profile, and it was upgraded to the 21-inch AMG wheels with black accents. In the back, you see a unique rear bumper with diffuser-like inserts at the bottom. There are a few elements on the outside of the car that are hidden until activated. The door handles are flush with the car and pop out when you approach it. These door handles and the front grille really remind me of the older Tesla Model S. In the back, concealed behind the star, is the rear view camera. When you put the car in reverse, the camera pops out. Integrated behind the black panel are the driver assistant sensors, including cameras and radar, that provide enhanced safety and convenience while remaining hidden from view. It's these small but significant design elements that give the car its futuristic allure. It has a power trunk and kick to open. This one actually works, unlike the other cars I've been doing the kick to open. It never works for me, but this one does. Once you pop the trunk, you'll find a fair amount of room. Whether you're hauling luggage for a long road trip or simply picking up some groceries, the EQS has you covered, with 22 cubic feet of cargo space behind the rear seats alone. If you need more room, simply fold down the seats and you'll get 63 cubic feet of space. There's one last interesting exterior feature on this car. It's this little panel on the driver's side behind the front wheel. This, oddly enough, is how you refill your windshield wiper fluid. You might be wondering why they'd put the washer fill-up on the outside of the car. Well, this leads me to my least favorite part of the EQS. It's because you can't open the hood. Well, you can, but you're not supposed to. Mercedes only wants the hood opened by qualified personnel. This feels very much how electronic manufacturers have treated self-service repair over the years. It's a really big issue that the right to repair movement is trying to solve. The lever to open the hood is still in the driver footwell, but it's behind a screwed plastic cover. Realistically, there isn't much you should need to do under the hood. It is an EV after all. Just seems weird they'd try and stop you. Anyway, as for the dimensions of the car, the EQS comes in at 207.3 inches in length, 83.7 inches in width with mirrors, a height of 59.5 inches, and a wheelbase of 126.4 inches. So the EQS is a little longer than the Tesla Model S, though slightly slimmer. Inside, you're greeted by a spacious and luxurious cabin with high-quality materials and attention to detail. The dashboard has a star pattern laid out across as we saw in the black panel outside. Standard is a 12.8-inch touchscreen display in the center and a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster in front of you. The vehicle comes with keyword activation voice control and navigation. So you can just say, "Hey Mercedes," Or it has to be turned on. Hey Mercedes. Hey Mercedes. Hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Find me a charging station.
Here is what I found. Where do you want to go?
You control everything from this touchscreen. However, there are a few buttons on the bottom. It's this very long bar that's connected to everything. So once you hit the driver settings, the whole thing kind of just moves forward with it. So here, if you want to click on the driving modes, this whole bar moves with it. You also have some control with the buttons on your steering wheel. The screen is very responsive when you touch buttons. So it's pretty quick to bring up certain menus. These seats are ready for any temperature. You can warm up or cool down with the heated and ventilated front seats. The adjustment for your seats are on the door. Just slightly tap on different areas of the seat buttons. Change up the ambience with LED lighting or simply let the sun shine in with the panorama roof. With 6 USB-C charging ports at your disposal, you can easily power up all your devices and never miss a beat. So there's 2 up here, 2 in here, and then 2 in the back seat. This EV has the AMG line interior, which switches up the steering wheel to flat bottom, sport front seats, stainless steel sport pedals, and an AMG line floor mat. The lighting across the EQS is a nice sight. The headlights display stars falling, and you see the Mercedes logo projected on the ground, replacing the puddle lights. The handles glow when they're presented, and there's almost an excessive amount of ambient lighting through the cabin. The EQS seats 5 people, and everyone in the back will be just as comfortable as the front seats. There is ample legroom, but some say the sloping of the roof may reduce some of the headroom. I wouldn't mind being a passenger in a long ride in here. Let's talk performance numbers. This car is rear-wheel drive and has a permanently excited synchronous motor. The battery in this EV has a capacity of 107.8 kilowatt hours and a rated voltage of 396 volts, so it's got a standard 400 volt system. The vehicle's regenerative braking is also very capable, being able to recuperate up to 186 kilowatts. There are 2 options for onboard chargers, an 11 kilowatt or 22 kilowatt version. For a battery of this size, 11 kilowatts should be just fine. If you're DC fast charging this car, it maxes out at 200 kilowatts. That gives this car a C rating of 1.85. It could be a bit higher, but 200 kilowatts charging is still pretty good and wouldn't slow you down on road trips. We'll test out the charging for ourselves a little later to see what the car is capable of. Looking at the efficiency numbers, the EQS does rank lowest when compared to the Tesla Model S and the Lucid Air. So some efficiency improvements on future model years may yield better range with the same battery size. The car includes 10-degree rear axle steering. It gives it a very interesting handling feel, as the rear end of the car doesn't always follow the front end the way you'd expect. This helps the car maneuver easier when parking and turning. At higher speeds, the rear wheels move in the same direction as the front to maximize stability. You can see the angles on the driving menu too. This is a nice feature for a vehicle over 16 feet long. The Audi e-tron was another EV that's had a similar type of 4-wheel steering system. The car is currently charged up to 100% and the odometer is at 21,616 miles. I'll try my best to bring down the battery percentage in the time I have with it. Later I will check in on the range and we can plug it in. Time for our drive. All right, just push the button and the car will illuminate when it's ready. All right, let's head out. There are 4 different driving modes. The first one is Eco, then you have Comfort, Sport, and Individual. There are 3 recuperation levels. When you turn it on, it will automatically be set to normal recuperation. You can turn that off with no recuperation, which is when you let off the accelerator, your car will continue to coast. And then you can set it all the way up to strong recuperation, and that's when you let off the accelerator, the car will slow down quicker. So the car accelerates instantly and seamlessly, though it is a little bit slower than other luxury electric vehicles. So if you're looking for a little bit more speed, you should probably go for the EQS 580. The view out the windows are a little restricted for me. I am shorter, so I like to sit up higher and I have the steering wheel lower. But the back window is pretty small and the dash sits up pretty high, so it obstructs the view for me a little. Inside the cabin, it's very quiet. There is minimal wind noise and there's no rattling. It's a well-built car. The seats are also very comfortable with all the seating adjustments. Put those things together and you have a very enjoyable ride. What I like about the EQS is that it comes standard with a lot of safety features, including blind spot warning, so you'll see a light on your mirror, and it'll also beep at you when there's a car next to you. It also has steering assist, brake assist, lane keeping assist, and it'll change lanes for you. Let's try out traffic aware cruise control with lane keep assist. So I'm going to turn it on and set it. And let's see. Car length, I'm going to do the max. So let's do 4. I currently have my speed limit set to 75. Should probably lower that. Okay, 70. So the car feels pretty confident. Let's try changing lanes. So let's go into the left lane and the car should be able to change over easily here. So I'm not doing anything, car's checking it out, changing lanes. All right, so that was smooth. Let's try it out for a few more miles and see how it handles. After testing it for a while, it's done pretty good. It's kept in between the lanes. It hasn't hit the brakes for no reason. And then when I want to turn lanes, it's done it pretty smoothly. Since this car is so long, it's nice that we have an extensive 360-degree view of the cameras. So right here we have our surroundings and the parking lot, and you can move it around. Then you can go to the front camera, which is the camera by the star. You could see how close you are to that curb, and then you could turn on a panorama view, as well as in the back camera. You can also look at your side angle. Here's the one from the left, and here's the one from the right, which really shows how bad of a parking job I did. And you also have parking assist. The car's down to 23% charge, and our real-world range is looking like we'd get about 338 miles on a full charge. All right, let's plug in. These are 350 kilowatt EVgo chargers. I'm keeping note of the state of charge, kilowatts, and duration of this charge. We're going to be stopping the session at 80%. The total duration of our charge was 27 minutes and 4 seconds, and the cost for this was $10.26. This charging graph looks pretty good. We got very close to the advertised peak of 200 kilowatts. The car gradually increased its charging rate as the battery warmed up. This process could be accelerated with a bit of preconditioning, but I couldn't find it as an option in the car. We maxed out at 195 kilowatts, and then the car started to gradually lower its charging rate, but we never made it below 100 kilowatts, so that's great. The Mercedes-Benz EQS has ample range and really shines with its comfort, lavish, and quiet interior. Its smooth ride and seamless acceleration make driving it a pleasure. However, the downside is this EV is not cheap, and the hood doesn't open. Thanks for spending time with me today. Have an EV I can review? Email me at info@kaizev.com. Follow me on social media at KaiZev and Kai's Tesla. Kai is my dog. And check out my website for more EV resources at kaizev.com. That's all for now, and happy charging.